Iranian police have arrested the daughter of former President Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani. Local reports say Faezeh Hashemi was arrested in the east of Tehran for inciting rioters to street protests. The police did not elaborate further on the charges. This is, however, not the first time that the Hashemi daughter had a run-in with Iran's strict laws. Earlier in July, she was charged with carrying out propaganda against the Republic, as well as for making comments on social media which were deemed blasphemous. Her father, the former president of Iran, died in 2017. He was one of the few families of Iran that had general wealth and mentioned or maintained close links with Iranian industry and business throughout his life. Rafsanjani was seen as the main mover behind Iran's acceptance of the United Nations Security Council resolution which ended the war. As president, he sought to encourage a rapprochement with the West and re-establish Iran as a regional power. Meanwhile, in Iran, the anti-hijab protests are now in their 12th day. Videos circulating on social media show Iranian protesters chanting "Woman, Life, Liberty," while the women waved and burned their veils. The protests were triggered by the death of a 22-year-old woman in police custody, days after she was arrested for unsuitable attire by Iran's morality police. Now, on Tuesday, the Iranian police clashed with protesters in dozens of cities. State media described the protesters as rioters and seditionists. The United Nations has condemned the security crackdown in Iran.
The UN Human Rights Office are very concerned by the continued violent response by security forces to protests in Iran, as well as communications restrictions affecting landline and mobile usage, the internet and social media platforms. Thousands have joined anti-government demonstrations throughout the country over the past 11 days. Security forces have responded at times with live ammunition. Many Iranians have been killed, injured and detained during the protests.
State media says around 60 people have been killed in the nearly 2 weeks of protests, while rights groups give a much higher number. Earlier this week, officials said that they had made more than 1,200 arrests, including of activists, lawyers and journalists. The internet blackout continues.
You know, in democratic countries, you have the freedom to protest. There is not so much danger, but in Iran, the people are risking their life to go outside, and you see the brutality of the police. So it's much more difficult situation, but again, the people are coming because they are really fed up with the Islamic Republic, disappointed that we are not going anywhere.
For millions of Iranian people right now, the brutal death of Mahsa Amini is becoming a turning point. But for the Islamic Republic, the murder of Mahsa Amini is becoming a tipping point, because compulsory hijab is not just a small piece of cloth. It's like the Berlin Wall. And if Iranian women manage to tear this wall down, the Islamic Republic won't exist.
Protests are being staged in many parts of the world in solidarity with Iranian women. People gathered outside the Iranian embassy in Argentina. They held signs with messages reading "Long live the rebellion" and "Down with the religious dictatorship" written on the placards. EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, slammed Tehran officials for using force against non-violent protesters, while Canada said it will follow the United States route and impose sanctions against the morality police. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.